Hi, fourth grade. This is Miss Wilson coming back to you with another video. Today we're going to be practicing long division. So we have some steps to take before we start. One of the first things we do before we start is write our steps. So we're going to write the steps of division. We divide, multiply, and subtract. Bring it on down and bring it on back. Divide, multiply, and subtract. Bring it on down and bring it on back. I know I probably got that song in your head by now. Then also before we start dividing, we're going to write our multiples. We're going to write our multiples of our divisor. So 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54. We're going to stop at 54 because we're going to count these as groups. If my answer is ever a group of 10, I've messed up because the largest number I can put in any place value is 9. So I'm going to underline my highest place value because when we divide, we always start with our highest place value. I'm going to ask myself, is my underlying number greater than or equal to my divisor? When I say yes, that means I can go ahead and start dividing. They're equal, so yes, I can start dividing. Then I'm going to ask myself, what's the closest I can get to 6 and my multiples without going over? 6. How many groups is that? One group. One goes in my quotient. So I divide it. My next step is to multiply. I'm going to take what I put in my quotient and multiply it times my divisor. 1 times 6, 6. My next step is to subtract. 6 minus 6, 0. Then my next step, bring it on down. So I'm going to bring down my next number. Bring it on down and bring it on back. Bring it on back means I start all the way over again. So now my new dividend is 9. And I'm asking myself, what's the closest I can get to 9 without going over? 6. And how many groups is that? 1. So 1 goes in my quotient. Then I'm going to multiply what I just put in my quotient times my divisor. 1 times 6, 6. I divided, I multiplied. My next step is to subtract. 9 minus 6, 3. My next step is to bring down my next number. I'm using the arrow so I can remember what numbers I brought down. Bring it on down and bring it on back. That means start all the way over again. So now I'm at 35. I'm dividing 35. I'm asking myself, what's the closest I can get to 35 without going over? 30. Then I'm going to count and see how many groups that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 goes in my quotient. Then my next step is to multiply. I'm going to multiply the 5 I just put in my quotient times my divisor. 5 times 6, 30. I'm going to get the same number that I picked in my multiple every time. Next step is to subtract and then bring down the next number. I don't have another number to bring down. In fourth grade, that means we're done. So what's at the bottom is called my remainder. How much I have left over. My remainder. Now I'm going to check my answer. I can check my answer by multiplying my quotient times my divisor and then adding in what I have left over. So I have 115 times 6. Now I'm going to use standard algorithm, which means I'm going to take my bottom number and multiply it times both place values. So I'm going to take my bottom number and multiply it times my 1. 6 times 5, 30. Carry my 3. Then I'm going to take my bottom number and multiply it times my 10s. 6 times 1, 6 plus my 3, 9. Then I'm going to take my bottom number and multiply it times my hundredths place. 6 times 1, 6. Then I'm going to add in my remainder, plus 5. And that gives me 695, which is my dividend to begin with. That tells me that I am correct. That's how I know my answer is correct. Now let's try another one. So as we're waiting, I'm going to give you our secret word. Make sure you write it down and turn it in. Our secret word for our division video is Boo Pass. Boo Bash, which we're going to be having Thursday. Boo Bash. All right, so let's do another. Let's do 375 divided by 4. Now, before I get started, I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to write my steps, divide, multiply, and subtract. Bring it on down and bring it on back. It tells me each step to take. Then I'm going to write my multiples of my divisor. So that's going to be 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36. Again, I'm just making 9 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Because if my answer is ever 10, I've messed up somewhere. So division is the only operation where we start in our highest place value. So I'm going to start in my hundreds. I'm going to ask myself, is my underlying number greater or equal to my divisor? No. When I say no, I have to combine my first 2 numbers. Because I have 3, I can't give out 4. I don't have enough. So I have to combine my first 2 numbers, and that's going to give me 37. Then I divide. I'm going to ask myself, what's the closest I can get to 37 without going over? 36. Then I'm going to count the groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 goes in my quotient. I'm going to put it over the 7 because I need you to know I use both numbers. Then I multiply. 9 times 4, 36. Then my next step is to subtract. 7 minus 6, 1. 3 minus 3, 0. Then I'm going to bring down the next number. Bring it on down and bring it on back. Bring it on back means start over again. So now my dividend is 15. I'm asking myself, what's the closest I can get to 15 without going over? 12. How many groups is that? 1, 2, 3. 3 goes in my quotient. Then I'm going to multiply. 3 times 4, 12. Every time I multiply, I'm going to get exactly what I got in my multiples when I divide it. Then I'm going to subtract. 5 minus 2, 3. Then I'm going to look and see if I have another number to bring down. I don't. In 4th grade, that means I'm done. Always your remainder should be less than your divisor. Remainder 3. Again, I'm going to check my answer just to make sure I'm right. This time I'm going to use area model. The 9 in 93 is worth 90, plus the 3 in the ones place is worth 3. 4 is going to be my width. In my first box, I'm going to go to the top and get my length, times, go to the side and get my width. 0, 36. Then I'm going to the top and get my length, times, go to the side and get my width. 4 times 3, 12. Now these are called partial products. So I'm going to add them together to get my product. 372. Sorry, you can't see that. 372. And then I'm going to add in my remainder. Plus 3. And that's going to give me 375 which is my dividend. And that's going to let me know that I'm right. Ooh, that's hard to see. But it's 375. All right, fourth grade. I hope we learned a lot today. And again, if you have any questions, you can always send me a message or even comment on the video. Until next time, fourth grade.